What if I told you that the key to discovering your true purpose in life isn't in your strengths but in your darkest, most hidden self? According to Carl Jung, the shadow is the part of you that you repress, deny, or refuse to acknowledge. It holds your fears, your suppressed desires, and the emotions you don't want to face. But what if embracing this hidden side is the very thing that leads you to a life of meaning? In this video, we'll explore how Jungian philosophy reveals that by confronting your shadow, you can unlock your full potential and discover your life's true purpose. Have you ever felt an urge, an emotion, or a reaction that didn't feel like you? Maybe a sudden burst of anger, an irrational fear, or even an unexplainable attraction to something you don't understand. According to Carl Jung, these moments aren't random, they are glimpses into your shadow self, the hidden part of your personality that you've buried deep within your subconscious. But what exactly is this shadow, and why does it matter? Jung describes the shadow as the dark, repressed side of your psychic traits, desires, and impulses that don't align with the identity you present to the world. It contains everything you've been taught to hide: your insecurities, weaknesses, and even your untapped potential. Society, culture, and personal experiences shape what you reject in yourself, pushing certain aspects into the unconscious. But repressing these elements doesn't make them disappear. Instead, they influence your thoughts, behaviors, and decisions in ways you don't even realize. Ignoring the shadow can lead to self-sabotage, projection, and emotional turmoil. You may unconsciously blame others for qualities you dislike in yourself, struggle with recurring negative patterns, or feel disconnected from your true self. But here's the twist: your shadow isn't your enemy. You believe that integrating it is the key to psychological growth, authenticity, and purpose. When you confront and embrace these hidden aspects, they transform into strengths. The weaknesses you once feared can become your greatest sources of wisdom and power. In the next section, we'll explore how suppressed emotions and hidden desires shape your life and why acknowledging them is the first step toward becoming your most complete, fulfilled self. Stay tuned, because your shadow might hold the answers you've been searching for. What if I told you that the things you fear the most and the desires that secretly drive you are entirely your own? Hidden deep within your subconscious, your shadow self is quietly shaping your emotions, your choices, and even your destiny. But how and why does it have so much control over you? Carl Jung believed that the shadow contains everything we suppress: our deepest fears, unspoken desires, and emotions we were taught to reject. But here's the catch: ignoring it doesn't make it disappear. Instead, it influences your thoughts and actions from the background, shaping your reality in ways you don't even realize. Have you ever had an irrational fear you couldn't explain? Or an attraction to something you feel you shouldn't want? That's your shadow at work. For example, someone raised to believe that anger is dangerous may suppress it entirely, only to later find themselves drawn to aggressive personalities, or even losing control in moments of extreme stress. A person who fears failure might sabotage their own success without understanding why. Our hidden fears often manifest in our outer world, while our unacknowledged desires can lead us into patterns of guilt, shame, or secrecy. The shadow isn't just about darkness, it also holds your untapped strengths and hidden passions. The things you secretly admire in others, the qualities you deny in yourself, and even your deepest creative urges all reside in this unseen part of your psyche. But until you acknowledge them, they will control you from the shadows. In the next section, we'll explore how facing your hidden self can transform your life, unlocking greater confidence, creativity, and authenticity than you ever imagined. Are you ready to meet the part of yourself you've been avoiding? What if the greatest version of yourself, genius, the leader, the artist, the visionary, was buried deep within your unconscious, waiting to be unlocked? While Carl Jung's concept of the shadow is often associated with our darkest traits, there is another side to it that many overlook: the golden shadow. This is the part of you that holds your hidden strengths, untapped talents, and suppressed greatness, often ignored due to fear, societal conditioning, or self-doubt. Have you ever admired someone so much that it felt like they were on a completely different level? Maybe it's a musician, a writer, an entrepreneur, or even a charismatic leader. The truth is, you wouldn't be drawn to them unless those same qualities existed within you, dormant but alive. However, instead of embracing this potential, many people project it onto others, believing they could never be as talented or successful. This happens because the golden shadow is often suppressed in childhood. If you were ever told to stop showing off, that you weren't good enough, or that success belongs only to a select few, you might have unknowingly buried your brilliance. Society conditions people to conform, making them fearful of their own power. But what if you reclaimed it? Recognizing and integrating your golden shadow means acknowledging your inner greatness instead of running from it. The talents and strengths you admire in others are actually reflections of what you could become if only you allowed yourself to step into that role. Instead of idolizing others, start seeing yourself as the hero of your own story. The moment you embrace the potential hidden within your golden shadow, you unlock the path to true self-actualization. What if I told you that the hidden part of yourself, part you've ignored, suppressed, or denied, is secretly running the show? The truth is, most people are unaware of how much their shadow influences their daily decisions, emotional reactions, and even the relationships they attract. But how can you tell if your shadow is in control? The signs are often subtle, yet they shape your reality in ways you never imagined. One major red flag is strong emotional triggers. Have you ever reacted with intense anger, jealousy, or fear over something that logically shouldn't bother you that much? That's often your shadow projecting unresolved emotions onto the outside world. For example, if you find yourself irrationally irritated by a confident, outspoken person, it could mean that deep down, you've suppressed your own desire to be bold and expressive. Another sign is self-sabotage. If you repeatedly fail to reach your goals, whether it's in your career, relationships, or personal growth, your shadow might be at work. Hidden fears of success, rejection, or change can unconsciously push you into destructive patterns, like procrastination, avoiding opportunities, or settling for less than you deserve. Repetitive toxic relationships are also a clue. If you keep attracting people who mistreat you, betray you, or drain your energy, your shadow might be seeking out these dynamics to replay unresolved wounds from your past. The shadow also manifests through hypocrisy and projection when you harshly judge others for traits that secretly exist within you. If you constantly criticize others for being selfish, weak, or controlling, ask yourself, could these be qualities I deny in myself? Recognizing these signs is the first step to breaking free. In the next section, we'll explore how to reclaim control and transform your shadow into your greatest ally. Are you ready? What if the parts of yourself that you fear the most hold the key to your greatest transformation? We often think of our flaws, fears, and dark impulses as things to suppress or hide. But according to Carl Jung, true personal growth doesn't come from rejecting the shadow, it comes from integrating it. The path to wholeness isn't about being purely good or trying to erase the darkness within. Instead, it's about balance, self-awareness, and reclaiming the parts of yourself that you've buried. The shadow consists of everything we deny, suppress, or reject within ourselves. It could be our anger, jealousy, desires, or even hidden strengths we are afraid to embrace. These repressed aspects don't just disappear, they manifest in our behaviors, relationships, and unconscious choices. People who suppress their shadow often project it onto others, criticizing traits in them that they refuse to acknowledge in themselves. This can create cycles of self-sabotage, anxiety, and unfulfilled potential. So how do you integrate your shadow and walk the path to wholeness? The first step is radical self-honesty. Start by recognizing your triggers. What behaviors in others irritate or frustrate you the most? These reactions often point to unclaimed parts of yourself. Next, practice self-reflection. Journaling, meditation, and dream analysis can help reveal what your subconscious is trying to tell you. Embracing your shadow doesn't mean giving in to destructive impulses, it means understanding and channeling them productively. For example, anger can become assertiveness, jealousy can fuel ambition, and fear can inspire wisdom. By acknowledging these aspects rather than suppressing them, you gain control over them rather than letting them control you. The final step is self-acceptance. Integrating the shadow means accepting yourself fully, flaws and all. It is through this acceptance that you gain true inner peace and strength. When you stop battling yourself, you reclaim your personal power. Those who walk this path don't just live, they thrive. Free from the chains of self-denial, are you ready to embrace your whole self? The journey may be uncomfortable, but it leads to the greatest reward, true transformation. What if the parts of yourself you fear the most are actually the key to discovering your true purpose? We often believe that our calling in life comes from our strengths, passions, or talents, but Carl Jung's work suggests something much deeper. Your greatest purpose may be hidden within your shadow. The very aspects of yourself that you deny, suppress, or feel ashamed of could be pointing you toward the path you were meant to walk. The shadow is the part of your unconscious mind that contains everything you have rejected about yourself. It includes your fears, insecurities, and even your untapped potential. When left unexamined, the shadow manifests as self-doubt, unhealthy patterns, and emotional triggers. But when you begin to explore it, something incredible happens. It starts revealing what you truly need to do in life. Think about the things that make you deeply uncomfortable. What behaviors in others frustrate you the most? What recurring challenges do you face? These are not random, they are reflections of your inner shadow, urging you to pay attention. For example, someone who suppresses their creativity might constantly feel envious of artists. This envy isn't a sign of failure, writes a clue. It's the shadow's way of showing you what you've been neglecting in yourself. Your shadow also holds your greatest fears, and behind those fears often lies your true purpose. Many people who are meant to be leaders struggle with self-worth. Many who are meant to teach fear their own ignorance. By confronting these fears, you gain access to the skills and passions that were once locked away. Integrating your shadow doesn't just help you heal, it aligns you with a life path that feels deeply meaningful. When you stop running from your darkness and start working with it, you gain clarity on what truly matters. The purpose of life isn't just to chase what feels comfortable, it's to become whole. Your shadow is calling. Will you answer? What if the very thing holding you back from true fulfillment wasn't your limitations, but your fear of embracing your whole self? Most people spend their lives suppressing parts of themselves, hiding their fears, ignoring their flaws, and even rejecting their deepest desires. But Carl Jung proposed a radical idea. True transformation begins when you move beyond your shadow and step into the fullness of your being. The shadow isn't just a collection of your fears and insecurities, it also contains your hidden strengths, repressed creativity, and untapped potential. When we suppress these aspects, we live half-lives, constantly battling against ourselves. But what happens when we stop fighting and start integrating? The process of becoming the fully realized self isn't about perfection, it's about wholeness. It means accepting the parts of you that society deems unacceptable. It means looking at your own contradictions, your anger and kindness, your wisdom and naivety, your courage and fear, and recognizing that all of it is you. This journey requires self-awareness and courage. Many people fear what they will find when they explore their inner world. But what if your greatest purpose is hidden inside what you fear most? What if the version of yourself you've always dreamed of isn't someone entirely new, but rather the real you that's been buried under years of conditioning? To become fully realized, you must move beyond the shadow not by erasing it, but by embracing it with wisdom. You learn to harness your darkness rather than be consumed by it. You channel your repressed emotions into meaningful action. You no longer reject parts of yourself, but integrate them into a powerful, authentic whole. In doing so, you no longer feel lost, unsure, or trapped by fear. Instead, you step into a life of deep clarity, purpose, and inner peace. This is the path of individuation, process of becoming who you were truly meant to be. Are you ready to go beyond the shadow and step into your highest self? Your greatest strengths are often buried in the very parts of yourself you avoid. Carl Jung believed that only by confronting your shadow can you truly understand your purpose. Are you ready to face your hidden self and unlock your true potential? Let us know in the comments what part of your shadow are you willing to explore today.